We've just found out that there is a new DJI Goggles 2 coming out, the Goggles Integra, which is going to have a built-in battery pack. And they've released a new motion controller, which has some pretty awesome features. Are they going to release a new Avata soon? We'll talk about that more in a minute, but I don't think so. So before we get into the Goggles Integra and all the features they're going to be adding to them and some they're going to be taking away, let's look at the new DJI RC Motion 2 controller. Now, these are not it. We actually found the leaks online from Jasper Ellens. He's leaked photos where people were apparently testing them out, and they're going to be released very soon. These are the old versions, but we're going to reference his photos. So to get started, you need to go follow Jasper Ellens on Twitter and anywhere else you can find him. He's a great source for this kind of information. So the RC Motion 2 has a couple features that were really lacking in the RC1. Most of us don't even really use this thing unless we're very new with the Avata, and one of the big issues is it does not have reverse. The RC Motion 2, as we can see, has a bar on the front which is going to allow you to push backwards on the throttle stick, which is going to allow you to go in reverse with the motion controller. On top of that, the old emergency brake button now has a joystick. That's huge. So now we'll be able to fly backwards, and if we yaw using head tracking or the motion controller, we'll be able to turn and go sideways, which will let us do those nice little orbits like you would do for real estate. Say you want to orbit around a chandelier or something similar. You could never do that before with the RC1 motion controller, which made it very limited in use. Another minor change they made is the tilt control for the gimbal. It's now a wheel, more like what's on the FPV controller and what's on the Mavic series drones. So it'll actually be a lot easier to use because this thing is kind of weird. It's jumpy and your finger slips off of it and it's just not very nice. What I'm excited about isn't necessarily this motion controller, but what they're doing with these goggles. Now, some of these things could cross over, but the new Goggles Integra are fixing something that I've always hated and we've always 3D printed mods for, which is the battery location. This new goggle strap has kind of like a hard hat clamp on the back, which allows you to tighten it, and I think will be much more intuitive to use. I think it'll also be quite a bit more comfortable. I don't think they're going to fix the actual fit of our face. A lot of us, these things are just garbage. They are really inconvenient, and honestly, I think we're going to redo these completely for that purpose. But it will add the battery up high where you don't have to have in your pocket and one more cable dangling. I also think with this setup, they're going to be able to communicate with your phone remotely as opposed to needing it plugged in for remote ID. I don't know that one for a fact, but it would be a huge miss if they did not add that to the new goggles. One thing I noticed they removed is the touchscreen on the side, and they've also removed the number on the side. This is what makes me wonder if these are an upgrade or maybe they're a downgrade or a cheaper set of goggles that's more targeted towards entry-level people. People who don't really want to have to deal with a battery and it's kind of confusing and they need it all integrated, thus Integra. So maybe that's what they're doing and maybe they aren't an upgrade. But these are actually going to go back to the joystick and button on top, and the SD card I noticed also is not in the side, it's actually where your eyes are. So there's no more automatic blackout, but instead an SD card slot in the front. They've also changed the way you adjust the eyepieces to little sliders instead of these big knobs, which honestly I think is nice. These things get bumped and like jammed all the time. Even if you lock them, they still they don't really stay very well, so that's nice. Every time I put these goggles on, it seems like the eyepieces have moved. So with the integrated battery, no more touchscreen, no more channel display that we're aware of, what do you guys think? Do you think this is going to be an upgrade from the Goggles 2? They finally changed the name to something that makes sense at least. Or is this going to be kind of a downgrade, kind of like the Avata SE, if you will? This is going to come in the new Explorer Edition kit. Personally, I think they're just going to be different altogether, and I kind of wonder if they're even going to work with the O3 Air units. That would be a huge fail if not. But it kind of makes me wonder if they're going to go away from that with the Avata. And that's what makes me wonder if maybe there is going to be an Avata 2 coming soon. I don't think it's going to happen in the next few months because this is actually getting released with the original Avata. However, I think this has been such a huge hit with DJI, I believe they are going to go into an Avata 2, but it's probably 6 months to a year out. In the meantime, we're going to do what we can with this Avata, maybe even make it a sub 250, not that small, but definitely smaller. and see what we can do about these goggles to make them actually fit our face. They are incredibly uncomfortable. We've already started scanning and modding, so stick around and you will see more updates about that on our channel very soon. We've just moved into a new space and we're getting ready to have a lot of fun this summer. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys in the next video.